A while ago, Aaron Taylor Johnson's name started trending on Twitter. This was because rumors started circulating that he was getting separated from his wife. Now, that wasn't the motivation for me to make this video, actually. I actually started writing it the day before, but I just found the timing really interesting. It's like a sign.
Remember how high the turnout was on the race, gender, politics polls? Yeah. Chat loves participating when it's like race, gender, politics polls. Chat literally begs for polls when I do that. But when it comes to like, what should we do next? Chat's like, I don't fucking care. You figure it out.
I don't believe in science, but it was like a sign. Anywho, the rumors were untrue. They're staying together. They're just selling their house. Welcome back, everyone. I bought a desk. This video is going to be a bit different from my previous videos. Not that anyone cares, considering I have 11 subscribers. I somewhat hesitated to make this video because I don't want it to seem like this case is the most egregious. This is just one case out of many. And I also hesitated because there is an aspect of gender to this that I guess is kind of weird for me to discuss as a man, but I realized nobody else was talking about it on YouTube, and so me and my almost no audience shall lead the charge on this discussion, I guess. Child grooming is the practice of an older person befriending a child or a very young adult in order to lower their inhibitions so that they can pursue a usually sexual relationship with them later. Grooming is being discussed more now than it ever was before, particularly in regards to people like Woody Allen, and that is great. It is a discussion that needs to be had. However, I do believe with the general public there is somewhat a disconnect between the perceived severity of this and the actual severity of it. The whole idea of being an adult at 18 has led to some concerning assumptions about the maturity of 18-year-olds, such as being able to join the military, gamble, marry, buy property, etc. It's this odd idea that the day you are legally allowed to do something, you're also mentally prepared to do something. This extends to the point that we treat the age of 18 as this magic number where people, usually teenage girls, are suddenly available for sex. The Olsen twins are famous.
Bro, is this a boring video session? No, it's the session where I end the stream early because I'm already fucking annoyed now. And chat is being like annoying as fuck. I did the worst part. I did the other thing. I did the worst thing that I could have done, which is ask you fucking animals for advice on what to do. I love you as a collective usually. But when I ask you for shit to do, like, chat is just like, oh, it's my stream now. Now I'm just gonna fucking be like, nah, it's boring, and fuck you. It's just like, I should have never done that. Literally should have never opened up a poll. Should have just been like, I'm bored of this video, and I'm moving on from it. But I did. I asked, and I got my answer. That's the problem. I think this is an interesting video. It has accrued 1 million views in 1 week. I don't like that the setup is just basically him talking about it. But also, it still is an interesting premise.
Magazine
I'm gonna
published
watch
this when it had multiple writers and editors who could have been like, this is a little weird, and they didn't do it. That's even more troubling. I'm not even going to get into this due to Popda saying that Millie Bobby Brown is allowed to be hot. Okay. The article is actually much more nuanced than the title would suggest, but the title is still really disgusting, so the point still stands. You know, what this reveals is that the sexualization of young girls is not a fluke, and it's not the result of a handful of perverts. It's a systemic issue that pervades media, government, and culture at large. And while that topic could make its own video, I have a different point to make. Let's talk about Finn Wolfhard. Finn Wolfhard was 14 when Stranger Things premiered, and he's 18 now. At the age of 14, a 27-year-old model posted an Instagram story about Finn Wolfhard stating, "Not to be weird, but hit me up in 4 years." And she tagged him. Now, I don't think I should have to say that this is completely inappropriate behavior, and a lot of people recognize that. Finn Wolfhard responded to this, calling out her predatory behavior, and multiple people defended him, including Sophie Turner. She eventually apologized, kind of poorly, and the issue was never really brought up again. But several people, mostly men, on social media found Finn Wolfhard's response to be unnecessary, for lack of a better word. They mocked him for turning down the advances of an older woman because they considered that a dream scenario, I guess. It's similar to when controversies erupt about women teachers having an inappropriate affair with their male students. Men get on social media to say that the child was lucky and wonder why he would ever rat her out. It's a sickness that we treat the sexual abuse of underage boys as aspirational. While the practice of grooming and sexualizing young girls is an issue that I'm glad we are talking about,
Wait, who was the girl that said hit me up to Finn Wolfhard? Come on, bro. You got to show that at least. A 27-year-old model? She was 27. Bro, come on, bro. That's crazy. You can't. Like, I thought she was maybe like. I thought she was like 20. You know what I mean? Allie Michael, a whole ass 28-year-old telling a 14-year-old boy to hit her up when he turns 18. Like, I mean, even though she's like probably joking, it's still like fucking nuts. What the fuck? Wait, what's the dude in the fucking video says she was 27? I didn't hear it. Shut up. God damn, she's older than me, bro. What the fuck? Allie Michael, let's see what she looks like. I do want to see what she looks like. Yeah, that's crazy.
Conversation often leaves out young boys. So, hashtag not all men. But this is overwhelmingly men who contribute to this culture. They are the ones who sexualize young girls, and they are the ones who dismiss the sexual abuse of young boys because they consider it aspirational. This isn't to say that women aren't guilty here, though. There are women on the beauty teams and the marketing teams. There are women journalists and editors and just consumers of media. And many of them also contribute to this by either being complicit in the sexualization of children or actively contributing to it. This problem is intersectional. I haven't really said anything about non-binary people because there's not really any research about them. And also because there's like 3 notable non-binary people in Hollywood. Oh wait, 4, Demi Lovato, good for them. The reason I'm not talking about them is because I just really hope they wouldn't be contributing to this culture. I feel like they're better than that. Anyway, there is a conversation being had about how the sexualization of young girls is a ginormous systemic problem that needs to be addressed. And I'm all for it, I really am. And not to sound like a 4chan troll, but I have to ask, what about men? Young boys are sexualized a lot in the media, more than we realize. Whether it's Euphoria casting ripped 25-year-old actors to play 16-year-olds, or the previous
That's called the anime technique, dude. Most notably featured in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's when you draw a character or imagine a character that is like clearly fucking. He's being serious, you fucking weeb. I mean, no, he's right. And that's precisely what I don't understand when they're like, I'm not talking about lolly shit, which is very strange in and of itself. But when like, when Japanese developers of Zelda will make a point to tell you that Zelda is like 17 years old over and over again. Like you could have easily just said 18, but no. Zelda is 17 years old. It's like, you didn't have to do that. You 100% at no point had to be like, Zelda is 17 years old. I need you to understand. Zelda is 17 years old. It's like, okay. It's so weird.
Example of a grown woman hitting on a teenager. I'm not trying to imply that
they don't want porn. Yeah, right, dude. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, this reminds me. I saw some weird ass Zelda shit on the internet, dude. Twitter recently started showing me like tags, like interests, I guess, like video games or whatever, right? Like, and one of my tags, I guess, is Zelda on Twitter. I don't know why. And it was like It was like Zelda Vor. It was like Zelda Vor porn or some shit. Topics is what it is. It's very weird. It is it was very weird, dude. First of all, it was the original thing was just Zelda, who had like big boobs, and it was like animated Zelda with big boobs, and they just like was they were just like, you know, bobbing up and down. So I clicked on it like, what the fuck is this? Okay, and what I saw was devastating. Okay, what I saw was devastating. It was one of the fucking creeps. It was one of the creeps that she had like basically eaten with her butt, and you could see the creep in her body like a snake. You know when like a snake eats something that's larger than it? It's like anal war. Dude, what the fuck? Dude, what the fuck are people doing on Twitter? This is the type of shit that was on Tumblr, and then they banned it. So now it's on fucking Twitter, and now Twitter is fucking putting it under topics. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Are you even allowed to talk about this on Twitch? I mean, I don't know. It's still fucking weird.
Everyone is ignoring this issue. I'm also not trying to imply that boys have it worse than girls. Many people in feminist circles discuss this issue, and girls are overwhelmingly more sexualized than boys. But there is this issue where the vulnerability of young girls is discussed at length, but not the vulnerability of young boys. Toxic masculinity is a phrase which is now controversial, which is strange to me because of how vague it is. Basically what it refers to is the way in which many boys are socialized to adopt unhealthy and toxic behavior under the guise of this is how men are supposed to act. This can include suppressing emotions, being overly aggressive, being jealous or defensive, a tendency toward violence, withholding compassion, etc. Now, this could go into a discussion about race and masculinity, but I'm not equipped to discuss that as a white man, so we're gonna move on with this. Sexual assault is not about sex. It is about power, patience of retaliation. Men and boys can be
He's talking about a lot of good stuff, but we already know all this stuff, so we're moving on.
Just as vulnerable to sexual assault as girls, especially when they're young. So this brings us to our case study. Aaron Taylor Johnson is an English actor most known for his roles in Avengers: Age of Ultron and Kick-Ass. Sam Taylor Johnson is an English filmmaker most known for directing 50 Shades of Grey.
Automatic sus, dude. There you go.
They have been married since 2012 and in a relationship since 2008. I'm going to go through the timeline of events of their relationship and marriage with no speculation or opinion. Most of the articles I found are based on statements from Aaron and Sam themselves, so whether or not they're entirely accurate is up for debate. They're also very private, so it's hard to gather a lot of information about their personal lives, but this is a timeline based on what information I have available at the moment. Aaron Taylor Johnson was an aspiring actor. He had done some theater work, some minor roles, and one leading role in The Thief Lord, which I can tell from the poster is not great. Then, in 2008, he auditioned for a role in a biopic about John Lennon called Nowhere Boy. He landed the role thanks in large part to the director fighting for him, and I suppose we can all get—
Dude, I love that chatters are saying, no, that's his mom. Which is kind of the entire point of this video. That is not his mom, chatters. That's his fucking wife. Okay? That is not his mom. That is his wife. When you have someone with the same last name, that doesn't automatically mean she is his mom.
Guess who the director was. It was Sam. The film received positive reviews from critics, mostly for Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance, and he received multiple awards for his work.
See, this guy said it reminds me of my president. Tell me you're French without telling me you're French, dude. There you go. There you go. It reminds me of my president. Oh, wait. This one is called the Macron technique.
Not long after, he achieved commercial success and international recognition from his role in Kick-Ass. During the filming of Nowhere Boy, most sources report that they had remained completely civil and professional during the entire shoot, though most of the cast and crew knew that something was going on between them. In fact, many sources claim that Erin was the one to pursue Sam. Sometime in 2008, Sam split from her husband of 11 years, but it's very unclear as to whether or not Erin had anything to do with this decision. Immediately after filming Wrapped in 2009, Erin told Sam that he was going to marry her. Not long after, a year to the minute after they met, before they'd even had a date, or kissed, Erin proposed, and Sam accepted. 1 month after their engagement, Sam was pregnant with their first child. In 2010, their first child, Wilder Ray, was born. 2 years later, in 2012, their second child, Romy Hero, was born. Okay, just one opinion. They were really bad at naming their kids. Because what? About 6 months after their second child was born, and about 3 years after their initial engagement, they got married and took on the last name Taylor Johnson. Erin's last name used to be just Johnson, and Sam's last name used to be Taylor Wood. God, she really likes those phallic surnames, huh? While not too much consequential stuff has happened since their marriage, since then, they have retaliated against speculation about their relationship. Erin won a...
Okay. So if you're unfamiliar with the timeline here, let me tell you. They've been together at this point for literally longer than a decade. Now, Aaron Taylor Johnson is 1 year older than me. Okay? He is now 30 or 31, depending on when his birthday is. Sam Taylor Johnson, who is not this person's mother, okay, is like 58, I think. Let me see. 54. Why are you saying 30? He's 31. She's 54. When they met, I mean, they have an age difference of 23 years. They met in 2009 during the film Nowhere Boy. 2008 is when Aaron auditioned for the role of John Lennon in Nowhere Boy. When various publications stated that he was 19 when she was 42. But that's not the case. Aaron was 18 when she was 42. According to Telegraph UK, they met a year before, prior to the year's film's release, which puts him at, I think, 17. 2008. In a 2017 interview with the Sunday Times UK, Sam said the couple almost didn't meet because Aaron was only available to audition on a date that she was absent. Okay. Let's keep going.
This video is brought to you
a Golden Globe. They made a movie together called A Million Little Pieces, which was not good. They are, I guess, making a new movie, and they're selling their house, which is what started the divorce rumors in the first place. That's kind of it. I know it's not a lot, but as I said, there's not a lot of information because they are very private. But wasn't that fun, class? Okay, let's go through this. So Aaron was 18 or 19 when he met Sam, who was around 42 years old. That is a 24-year age gap. And while, yes, 18 is of legal age, I have already argued that I consider 18 as still very vulnerable age. And I actually don't have an issue with age gap relationships, but it all depends on context, and I really don't think this relationship had the right context. The way they met was that Aaron was auditioning for a role in her movie that she was directing. Not only that, he auditioned at her house because of scheduling conflicts with Kick-Ass. There was a power dynamic from the get-go. A director is always going to hold some form of power over their cast and crew. And see, this is my main issue with their relationship. Not the age gap, not how old Aaron was.
No, the family friend thing was The family friend thing is unfounded.
When they started dating, though I'm not about to say that that's alright. It's the fact that he was fairly new to the industry, and this ended up being his breakthrough role. You can argue that Sam was also new as this was her debut, but here's the difference. A film can relatively easily replace their lead actor with very little issue. There are problems with the cost of auditioning and reshoots and negotiating contracts and all that, but many films have had their lead actor drop out or get fired last minute and still been a success, e.g. Freaky Friday. However, there was very little chance of Sam being fired as she was very entwined with the project and had serious creative control. She was also well connected, having known people like Elton John previously. While this was her film debut, she had had a prolific career as a photographer before this and was quite wealthy. So, if something had gone wrong on Aaron's end, Sam would have had the power to blacklist him, essentially make it almost impossible for him to succeed as an actor. About Aaron being the one to pursue Sam. This is where we have to crack open the nuance, which I'm not excited about, but we gotta do it. Aaron was the one to pursue Sam, and
oh yeah, for Bayran, it says for 29 and 54, yeah, if he was 29 years old and dating her at the age of 54 and they met when he was 29 and she was 54, then yeah, that's like good for her. You know what I mean? She fucking killed it. You know what I mean? But that's not what happened. That's not an issue. When you're, dude, I'm 29 years old. If there's a 54-year-old lady out there who can, you know, spice it up for me, then, you know, she deserves it. Okay. But again, because I'm a fucking adult. Like, but when he is 18 and she's like, when he's 18 and she's like, how old was she? Can't do math. 42? That's wild, dude. That's wild.
Proposed to her. So it can kind of be argued that Sam was not grooming Aaron as Sam was not the active agent here. But first of all, these are statements from the couple, which means they could be skewed to deflect criticism. Now that is speculative on my end, and I'm not trying to be speculative here, but take every fact about the relationship with a grain of salt. There's another issue though. Someone who is 19 is going to be irrational, impulsive, and passionate. That is not an insult, because everyone should be that at that age. God knows I should have been. And think about a similar situation where a high school student has a crush on their teacher. It is common and natural for young people to develop crushes on their teachers or other authority figures. When you spend a lot of time with an older authority figure who gives you attention, you can grow attached to them. Now, I know nothing about Aaron's psychology, and I don't plan to try to attempt it because this video is already invasive enough. However, the power dynamic of teacher-student, step-parent, stepchild, doctor-patient is so sexualized in media that it has become somewhat normalized. There is a sexual thrill in being with someone older and more powerful than you, and I can attest to that. God, I really need to stop writing sex jokes into these videos because my family watches these because I made the mistake of telling them I have a YouTube channel. God, that was a mistake. There's also just the simple fact that intelligence is attractive. Now, we can go back and forth all day about what intelligence means and if one age group is more intelligent than the other, but there is some truth to the idea that the older you are, the more you know. And so young people can find themselves.
In Indiana, the legal age of consent is 16. When I was in high school, an officer visited my class and explained that he often has had to arrest boys on their 18th birthday because they had sex with their 15-year-old girlfriend. But when a mom calls saying that her 16-year-old daughter is being assaulted by a 60-year-old man, if the 16-year-old says it's consensual, he can't do anything about it. This country is so fucked. Hey, that's Indiana, partner. Okay, you can't get in the way of free love, brother. You fucking kidding me? That's how it works. Just like at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break, and there's nothing you can do about that. Okay? Or did you say India? No, I think she said Indiana. Okay. Now, there is one thing you can do, though. You can subscribe. For $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime, you can subscribe. And that way, you will be able to avoid the ad breaks at the top of the fucking hour. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Or you can use an ad block or a VPN. Here it is. Here's the ad break now.
themselves drawn to older people, particularly authority figures, because they perceive them as more intelligent, no matter if that's actually the case. And then there's just the fact that young people are hormonal. Hormones are so pesky, am I right? Ladies? So a young person being attracted to their superior is normal, and it happens for a variety of reasons. But in any case, the onus here is not on the young person, it is on the older person, the one in power. Aaron pursuing Sam doesn't make the relationship okay because Sam should have turned him down. She was the adult here.
I mean, it's not even the age difference. The age difference is just weird, okay? It's not illegal. Just the truth. It's not. Okay? That just makes it fucking weird. The real problem is the power dynamic. He's 18 years old. This is like his first ever job in the industry. And this person is literally their boss. That's the main issue in this situation.
And just because there was this connection, so they say, it doesn't mean it was all right for her to accept his advances. It was clear from the interviews that this whole thing was irrational considering their rush to get engaged before they'd even...
At what age are you fully capable of making relationship decisions? I mean, it's different for every single human being, right? But probably like plus 25 plus, I would say. I'd most likely say 25. 15 for me? Yeah, no. I promise you. You're probably like 18 right now if you're saying dumbass shit like that. And you are definitely still not capable of making good decisions as far as relationships goes.
Had a date. You know what? Aaron had the right to be irrational because he was a young man moving into adulthood, but Sam should have known better. If they were really soulmates, which is a concept I'm highly skeptical of, but regardless.
Fuck it, I'm saying it, dude. Excessive age difference, 18 and 21 should be illegal. What? No, that's fucking ridiculous, dude. No, you can't. What the fuck? What is the excessive? No, I think that person is saying like up to 18 it's you know, illegal, and then after from 18 to 21, if you're like 50 years old and you're fucking an 18-year-old, that should still be considered like illegal, but no. That was a 20-year-old whose 19-year-old ex is dating a 24-year-old. True. Yeah. Excessive. Make it illegal. I'm calling it. You're about to get really pissed at chat. No, I know. There are a couple ideas that break a lot of liberals' brains. There are a couple ideas that break a lot of liberals' brains and a lot of leftist brains too. This is one of them where they just like, there will be like unironic takes in the chat saying like, well, if a woman is tiny, then you're a pedophile. Fellas, is it pedophilic to date short women? You know what I mean? There is age gap discourse is fucking mega awful on the internet because you do literally have people who are like, you know, a little too comfortable with young people. Okay. Lollies. People that are into lolly stuff. And then also on the other side, you have the overcorrective people who are like, it should be illegal to even look at a 25-year-old. You should not be able to fuck a 25-year-old up until 25. That day chat called you a racist and a pedo? Yeah, they did. "10 years apart is pedophilia." See?
If they were soulmates, wouldn't the connection have been the same a few years later when they were both more established and Aaron wasn't in a position of servitude to Sam? There's anecdotal evidence of them being completely inseparable, this article from The Guardian states. "I've never been on a film set with such a strange atmosphere. While the rest of the cast and crew are welcoming, Taylor, Wood, and Johnson seem oblivious to the world. This sets off alarm bells to me because it somewhat implies that Aaron was isolated from the rest of the cast and crew. While it's impossible,
if someone exclusively dates small-framed women, that is fetishization. I'm so happy none of you guys are gonna have even a crumb of power. Like, it really does make me happy that, like, in a weird way, that, like, this is kind of the cycle. This is kind of the reason why the left will never gain any power. You know what I mean? Like, this is literally the reason why we will never have a crumb of power, because we get caught up and have these, like, very weird takes. Okay. But also because of those weird takes that I'm happy that, like, we will not have power, because it's just like people that have opinions like this should not have it.
to say if this was self-imposed or orchestrated by Sam. Sam clearly did nothing to dissuade it and almost encouraged it. Mind you, in this case, at this time, he was her employee. Imagine having this kind of relationship with your boss. After just 1 month of being engaged, Sam became pregnant. Now, premarital sex and having babies before marriage is not something I'm opposed to. I'd be a hypocrite otherwise. To the sex thing, not the babies thing. I'm gay. But mind you, this was after only a year of knowing each other, most of which time was spent in a professional setting with only like a month of romantic time. This is not a lot of time to conceptualize the idea of being a parent. Sam already had 2 children from her previous marriage, both of which Aaron is said to love and adore and care for well. One of them is only 6 years younger than him, but we're not going to get into that. Sam already knows what being a parent is like, and she has the experience. However, Aaron was 20 years old when she got pregnant. People have children at a young age all the time. I personally don't think they should, but that's not a discussion for today. And Aaron always said he wanted kids, so what's the problem? Here's the problem, dear children. As I said, I don't want to be speculative here, but there is something off about the order of events. They got engaged really quickly, a month after filming Wrapped. They got pregnant really quickly, a month after their engagement. They had their first child 9 months later because biology. A year and a half later, they had their second child. All of this.
What the fuck,
and
dude?
They're still not married. Long engagements can happen.
My man put a jump scare in the middle of his fucking video about age gap discourse, dude. What the fuck? Why, dude?
For any reason. You want to plan more, or you want to save your money, or you just want to get to know each other better before you get married and are legally bound. What gives me pause about this is that there was clearly very little planning to begin with. They're Hollywood stars with probably a good disposable income, and they clearly really wanted to be together. They both stated in interviews that they possibly spent 2 or 3 days apart in their 10 years of marriage, and that they're completely miserable during those times. Now, this is most likely hyperbolic and a joke, and it's normal to miss your partner when they're gone. But
bro, that's so crazy. That's wild, dude.
But it's just an uncomfortable joke. Why would you joke about codependency and separation anxiety, or more likely just Aaron's dependency on Sam? So why is it that they move so quickly on everything but marriage? Again, not being speculative, I'm just going to leave that question open. Researching this topic was kind of strange because there's this huge gap between the established publications and the general public about the issue at hand. Social media as a whole is mostly in agreement that Sam groomed Aaron, or at least that their relationship is bizarre. That's not really the case with magazines, tabloids, gossip sites, etc. Almost all of the articles that cover this topic draw the conclusion that backlash against their relationship is sexist. And that is a good tactic, I must say, because although it's completely wrong, it's not unfounded. Age gap relationships are so normalized in the—
It's sexist? Wait, if anything, it's like sexism is the only reason why people don't look at it like more aggressively. Right? Like, it's literally, it's kind of sexist not to criticize it a little bit, in the sense that it's sexist against men. Because that age gap between men will, understandably, call into question and have people suspect foul play.
in the entertainment industry. George Clooney hasn't been with somebody less than 10 years his junior since the early 90s. Jay-Z was 33 and Beyonce was 21 when they started dating, and Harrison Ford is over 20 years older than his wife Calista Flockhart. The thing is, with all these examples, you can probably guess they're all older men with younger women. There's this notion in the entertainment industry that men are valid and attractive and useful at any age, whereas women are disposable and can be dismissed after turning 40. This extends to many movies casting older men and younger women as love interests, whether it has anything to do with the plot at all. And beyond that, older women are just not treated well at all. Oftentimes because a woman's worth is tied to their sexual desirability, which is said to completely leave after they've turned 40. So when they're no longer deemed sexually viable, they're cast aside. And claiming that the back...
Like Leonardo DiCaprio comes to mind, right? And people fucking dunk on him all the time. People dunk on Leonardo DiCaprio all the fucking time. He is, at this stage, 46 years old. Okay? He's 46 years old. Pretty sure the women that he dates are like literally max 25 years old. Max. All right, real question. I mean, Scott Disick is another example that I'm thinking of. Scott Disick dating like Sophia Richie when she was like 17 and 366 days. And Scott Disick was like 40 or whatever. Lord Disick. She was literally like 17 and 367 days old. And they were dating. Jerry Seinfeld met his girlfriend when she was, or wife, when she was 16. And he was like 40. Okay, he's Leo, but I imagine girls are attracted to him. See, that's the sexist part. What do you mean? Okay, then it's the same energy with Aaron Taylor Johnson. Maybe he's into like an older lady. But again, $17 and $38. But again, the point here is that it gets fucking weird as shit when there is it gets even weirder when there is a power dynamic. Like Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends are just like random models and shit. Okay? Leonardo DiCaprio is not like a model caster. He's just a famous guy. He's a famous hot guy, right? Whereas this person, aside from like the creepy age gap, was also literally the director and the kingmaker for Aaron Taylor Johnson. That's what makes it fucking weird. Also, I love that people made a chart about this. 24 to 18, 25 to 19, 26 to 20. Oh, this was all the same. That's why I was like, wow, this is, growing along. And then boom, he's 29, moves on to, I guess, Bar Raffaelli and then Blake Lively. Boop. He refreshed. He hit the fucking refresh. Boop. Went back to 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Leo's age limit. This is so fucked up. Oh my God. This is a beautifully done graph, by the way. This is a real r/data is beautiful moment. I have to point it out. It is very well done. Boop, refresh. He hits 25. Boop, refresh. 23, 22, 21, 25. Boop, refresh. 24, 25. Boop, refresh. 20. That's crazy, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, this scares me, dude. What's gonna happen in 2023? In 2023, he's gonna be like, I mean, he's already like 48, or not 48. He's 44 in 2019, so he's 40, 46. He's gonna be. What's gonna happen? I hope he doesn't hit the refresh, dude. He's like 2 years older than you, monk ass. What the fuck is monk ass? Like monk ass?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So...
Damn, he's laughing at it, dude. Damn, look at him laughing at it.
Okay, start making your guesses about what Leo said to the people at his table when he turned around there. My money is on that's funny, but could he have also said that's true? So Ricky Gervais did not hold back in his fifth.
God, I hate the analysis in these shows. You know, Vincent Cassell, he was with fucking Monica Bellucci for years and then got Tina Kunake, which was 30 years younger. What? I mean, like I said, in Leo's case, it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird, especially like here. Like, this is normal, okay? Normal, like, kind of sus, but whatever. Okay, I mean, still 20 years old. At least they're like not fucking 18. Normal. These are the ages that we do know, by the way. So the girls that he's having sex with that we don't know that he's having sex with, like, that are not public. Like, okay, all right. What the oh my God, you're 38 years old. She's 20, dude. Oh no! And it's like, oh God, it keeps going. (24 and 18, 30 and 20 is not normal. Okay. Okay. It's not normal. It's normal. What if, hey, chatter, what if all of these girls are over 6 foot? '30s and early 20s is kind of weird. I mean, it is. It's a little odd. Definitely a little odd. It's a little Hollywood. The girls he dates now do not know what dial-up internet is. Yeah. They're so lucky not to know. He was dating the first girl when the last girl was born. LMAO. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. I think a good way to figure this stuff out is like, do you know what 9/11 is? Like, do you remember 9/11? If not, Leonardo DiCaprio should not be dating him. Yeah, but they only talk about it jokingly. They don't make video essays about his grooming. Are you serious? You think people haven't made video essays about Leonardo DiCaprio's grooming? We're literally looking at a incredibly well done chart that documents Leonardo DiCaprio's like, it's not even grooming. It's just like creepy. There's a difference. The reason grooming is a very specific thing that you say, okay? The reason why it's like relatively understandable that you're like this could be considered grooming is because of the power dynamic. Leo shouldn't date any girl who doesn't remember the OJ trial. You do understand Chad is telling you you can't fuck these ages because you're about to be 30 law, but yet I'm sure even after you hit 30, your chat that's in their 20s will most likely give you some, even though we just had this conversation. Oh, of course. Yeah, 100%. Like the very same chatters like that's really creepy are also the same ones that are like thirsting nonstop, even though they're like young as fuck. I'm not Leonardo DiCaprio though. He met his 22-year-old girlfriend for the first time when she was 10. What? The grooming can absolutely fit in instances where like the older person, if they're near 18 or like actually 18, the age gap is important. Did you steal that joke from Succession? That's one of the best meme lines in the entire show. No, someone in the chat said it. I'm literally 21 and asked you on a date. I'm still waiting for the date though, Puggo. I mean, y'all can thirst all you want. It just doesn't mean I'm going to act on it. You know what I mean?
Backlash against the relationship is sexist is sure to get you the support of older white feminists and maybe some new feminists who don't really understand the nuances of the issue, and probably some others too. But the problem here is that you're using this valid argument to draw the wrong conclusion. The conclusion should not be that men do this all the time, so women should be granted that same right without judgment. No, it should be that this is a systemic issue with society that needs to be addressed and eradicated regardless of gender. This article I found helped me a lot with this video, and I recommend you read the whole thing. I'll link it below, but this is a quote. As if feminism means the freedom to replicate the systems that have done us so much harm, but when flipping the script means mimicking systematic oppression, it doesn't do anything for the cause and has the added consequence of hurting people. Sam Taylor Johnson is not a girl boss. She's an abuser. Access to children should not be a reward for breaking your own glass ceiling. I want to add one more layer of nuance to this. I've got a whole onion at this point. There are abusers that know exactly what they're doing. They are hurting and manipulating and torturing these people, and they have no intention of stopping. I think this is what a lot of us like to see abusers as. Villains. Because a villain is simple, and a villain can be defeated. But abuse is not that simple, and in this case, it's very not simple. Abusers can often be completely unaware that they're being abusive, either because they were socialized to see abusive behavior as normal, or they've been abused themselves and don't really recognize it as such. I don't believe that Sam is being intentionally abusive. I don't believe that she can see anything wrong with her relationship with Aaron, and I believe that Aaron feels the same way. And that's what makes this so tricky, because if they're both so resistant to the idea that their relationship is inherently toxic and abusive, they're never going to examine it to understand that it's unhealthy. Even if they do get divorced, which is a big if, it's not going to change much. It will be a victory for Aaron and his fans, but it won't signal the end of grooming. Or maybe them getting a divorce will topple the patriarchy. We can only hope. So this relationship is not as simple as Sam is abusing Aaron, Aaron should leave Sam. That's what it boils down to, but there are so many intricacies regarding age, gender, intentionality, the timelines, etc. And reducing the situation down to its bare bones does nothing but give Sam and media outlets an excuse to call these accusations sexist and outlandish. I mean, they're going to do it anyway, but let's at least make it harder for them. I want to take a moment to talk about the opposite side of this debate, particularly Twitter. So I stated in the beginning that Aaron Taylor Johnson's name started trending on Twitter after divorce rumors started circulating.
Dude, stop asking the same question over and over again. Is it grooming if you're a teenager while shifting? Yes, it's still... Stop. It's not funny.
And I look through many of the tweets, and it's,
Why is it weird if a 20-year-old is interested in a 30-plus-year-old adult, grown adult, right? At that point, it's like I said, the closer you get to 25, the less, like, weird it gets. Once you're 25, it just, like, literally doesn't matter. Like, literally. And the closer you get to 25 between the ages of 18, the less weird it gets. Unless there is some other circumstances, kind of like... unless there's some other circumstances, kind of like... you know, being that person's boss or something like that. Leo happens to hit that 20 to 25. He just figured out that he can hit the 20 to 25 range all the time, over and over again until he fucking dies, I guess. You know what I mean? But he doesn't go beyond. Well, I guess he 18 to 25. But he goes beyond that as well. Or he doesn't go beyond the 25 range. He just goes back down. Prestiging on girlfriends. Yeah, literally. I know why your limit is 25. Dua Lipa simp. Me too, I understand. No. I'm just saying for like once you're above the age of 30, 35, like the older you get, it doesn't matter as long as someone is like 25. What the fuck? Like, that's a fully developed adult human being. You're not gonna... Like, I'm not gonna sit around and be like, I can't believe a 25-year-old woman is dating a fucking 40-year-old man. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, you're ridiculous. Like, that age gap doesn't matter. It would only matter if there was also some other circumstances on top of that. Once you turn 30, will you have to stop looking at nudes that 18-year-olds send you? I mean, I don't know who the fuck is... what? What do you... It's like such a ridiculous question. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, there you go. Like, if a porn star is like 18, 19 years old, I will not fap to it. Okay, you have my promise. I will make sure that I know the kind of sex work that I'm consuming is ethical. 25 isn't arbitrary. It's literally when your brain becomes fully developed and doesn't generally develop much more beyond that point. Yeah. "25 dating a 40 is weird, man. Come on. What's it to you, motherfucker? Once you've been literally fucking actually paying taxes and shit, like, you're gonna tell a 25-year-old they can't date someone? Shut the fuck up. Actually, shut the fuck up. Like, you're unironically being ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who have this take about 18 plus. I still think that, like, you know, 18 plus are pretty young. As a matter of fact, here's another point. When you're 25 years old and you're dating like a 65-year-old person, oftentimes the role is reversed, where they will assume that the younger person is more predatory than the older person in that power dynamic. Absolutely zero people I assume, are going, oh my God, I can't believe this 60-year-old really swindled this 25-year-old. It's often literally the opposite, that the 25-year-old is probably dating the 60-year-old for some other reasons. Money. I did not mention gender on purpose, so don't do a self-report there. You understand what I mean? Watching 18, 19-year-old porn is unethical and anti-leftist. Yeah.
It's interesting. Now, this has been said many times about Twitter, but it's possibly one of the worst places for discourse. This is primarily due to the character limit dissuading nuance and the algorithm favoring inflammatory responses over careful argument. Twitter is overwhelmingly against Sam Taylor Johnson in this, and I do believe they have the best intentions, but the delivery is iffy. The streets are finally saying Aaron Taylor Johnson is finally getting a divorce from that crypt keeper. Y'all better not be playing with my faint young and extremely fertile heart. I know Aaron Taylor Johnson was spotted with his hag wife again, but I'm not giving up on their divorce. This how everyone finna fight over Aaron Taylor Johnson when he finally get divorced. Crying emoji. Aaron Taylor Johnson and his wife. Waiting outside Aaron Taylor Johnson.
It's kinda fucked up. At this point, it's like... At this point, it's fucked up. Because he's like, it's too late, dude. The grooming happened already. Like, he's locked in. You know what I'm saying? It's literally like he's fucking 30, dude. He's 30 years old. You're like roasting a 30-year-old for being in a committed relationship with like a 50-year-old. You know what I mean? It's done. I mean, good luck. You can get upset all you want all day long, but like at this point, it's like you can't. You're just being kind of a dick at this point.
House to make sure those divorce papers arrive. Anyone want anything? No, wait, I heard that Aaron Taylor Johnson is getting divorced, and there's a meme of a black woman because that's all that Twitter is now, and a known transphobe, so I'll be there for him with open arms and open legs and an open mouth. First glance, these aren't too egregious, right? They're little jokey jokes in celebration of them possibly getting divorced. But there's two main issues here. One is that some of them fall back on sexist words like hag, which I don't think should be used to criticize an older woman when there's so many other valid reasons to criticize her. But those aren't the ones I'm really concerned about. Aaron Taylor Johnson is an attractive man, and I don't think that's a controversial statement. So of course he is going to have people crushing on him online. And that's kind of how it is for attractive public figures. However, there's a line here that people...
What? Sarah Paulson is dating someone 32 years older than her? And nobody thinks it's weird that they started dating ages 40 and 72? Yeah, like, you can't. Like, what, you're gonna tell a 40-year-old woman she can't date, like, someone 30 years older? Like, good luck, dude. I mean, seriously, she's fucking 40. Like, what are you're telling 40-year-old women what they can and can't do? Bro, it literally does not matter. It fucking does not matter. I do not give a shit if the person is 80. I do not give a shit if the person is 100. If you're 40 years old and you're fucking dating someone, and I feel the same way about 25 too. Like, 25 for me is the cutoff point. Anyone who's like, oh my God, I can't believe you fucking dated a 25-year-old. Like, what is it to you? What is it to you? I don't give a fuck if the person is 100 years old and if the guy's 100 years old and the girl is 25 years old. I still don't give a fuck. Obviously, what's going on there is a little bit different than our understanding of a traditional relationship. But like, what are you gonna police a 25-year-old's relationships? Like, you're fucking insane. The only reason why this is more spicy as a story, and I keep repeating myself, is not because he was 18 and she was 42. That's fucking very weird. Okay, that is weird. Very, very weird. But most importantly, because she was the director of a movie that he was literally starring in, and he was the first, that was like his first job. Okay?
people on Twitter just seem to be barreling over. I'm concerned about the people rooting for their divorce simply so that they can have a chance. And I know that this is a joke, and I know that they don't really think that there's a possibility of them dating or whatever. However, instead of arguing that he should get a divorce because he's been groomed and he's a victim, they argue that he should get a divorce so that they can have a chance with him. And as
also, even no matter what happens, like 18 plus, no matter what happens, I consider it weird, but that doesn't fucking change the reality that one, it's legal, and two, there could be other circumstances that you don't understand, like that we just can't comprehend. We oftentimes do literally infantilize anyone between the age of like 18 to 25 to a ridiculous degree. Okay? Which is why I think the 18-year-old age of consent is good. Good. It's good. It's not perfect. You can't have a perfect age of consent. It's good. Like, in some instances, you know, people will advocate to make it higher. In some instances, people will advocate to make it lower, and that's kind of weird. Okay? Don't fucking do that. It's definitely weird. Okay? It's a weird thing to advocate for. Age of consent being 18, solid, okay? Not perfect, but you can't make it perfect. Just can't.
As a result, they resexualize him in a different context. I don't believe that this is their intention, but in these tweets, he is treated as a reward rather than a human being. Human beings are not sexual commodities to be passed around. This is objectification, and there's another layer to it because it's done in the name of helping a victim. I said earlier that I hesitate to make this video because I didn't want this case to seem like the most egregious one. And while that is true, I have another reason. Aaron Taylor Johnson is a human, meaning he's complex, he has layers and feelings. I know, it's really hard to imagine. And he has stated on multiple occasions that he is uncomfortable with the speculation into their relationship. I mean, Sam has too, but I don't really care about her. And that is a valid feeling for him to have. Even if you think somebody is in a bad situation, they have every right to feel like they're being intruded on. However, there comes a point when the problem becomes bigger than just this one relationship. If Aaron ever does see this video, which is incredibly unlikely, but regardless, if he ever does see this video, I do apologize.
It should be 25? No, I don't think age of consent should be 25. That is like a completely psychotic take. I'm just going to let you know again. That is literally the most psychotic, puritanical fucking take. Nah, fuck it, dude. Make it 35 while you're at it. Make it 55, dude. Age of consent should be 55. Like, 25 is actually unironically fucking insane. Okay? That's crazy. That's actually crazy, dude. What the fuck? Age of consent 25 with Romeo and Juliet laws? No! No! No, not with fucking Romeo and Juliet laws, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck? Age of consent should be different for each person. Random number generator. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, make sex illegal across the board.
Apologize for the things I've said that have made him uncomfortable, but
I think the difference is, like, you can have consensual sex after the age of 18, but it might be like, you know, under weird circumstances. And this is like a gray area that will always exist in sex that people often will immediately regard as like, oh, that's just rape. Like, we have very black and white opinions on these sorts of issues on the internet. And it also feels good when you have a black and white issue on a subject like this, because then you're like, the battle lines are drawn. And I have my, you know, I have my point of view and everyone else has my point of view and it's great. Like, whatever. You're right. No one is the same. Some people are ready for sex earlier or way later. It'll never be perfect. Yeah. Weird because people from Germany say we oddly infantilize people around 16. It's something culturally normal here to be pretty much an adult at 16. Not saying I agree. It's just weird how other cultures see it. Not including more extremist views.
This is an inherently uncomfortable topic. I've said multiple times so far that I don't want to be speculative with this video. I wanted to present the facts of their relationship and say what I thought was wrong with them. There are aspects to this relationship that I can't prove that just seem off to me. Like how private they are, the fact that she seems to dominate every interview, or the fact that he looks at her for approval.
Age of consent is 15 in France, and they keep trying to lower it. Yeah, that's France, bro. They're on some different shit. Oh, Christ, dude. Who the fuck's trying to lower age of consent if it's 15? Oh my god. It is way too high. We must lower it. Oh, Jesus Christ. $15 is way too high. We need to lower this age of consent.
Isolated, none of these things would be like a huge hullabaloo for me, but because this relationship started out with this huge age gap and power imbalance, it's hard not to read into it. And so I understand when people are speculative about the relationship. Whether or not they go about it the right way is a completely different story. But the point is, no matter how you slice it, their relationship is inherently toxic simply because of how it started. And there's nothing anyone can say to me that will convince me otherwise. And this whole relationship is just a microcosm of several other issues, including white feminism, sexualization of children, sexual abuse, biased media, pedophilia, and several others. And this issue isn't just about Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's about Anna Nicole Smith. It's about Millie Bobby Brown.
In a lot of these countries, the reason why the age of consent is low is so there's more freedom and children don't get fucking unfairly punished. Not so that like 50-year-olds can fuck 14-year-olds, okay? I assume it's not so that like 30-year-olds can take advantage of like 15-year-olds and fuck them. Because America having a age of consent being 18 ends up actually getting kids, like other kids, in trouble. Maybe I'm being too nice though. I don't know. But that's my suspicion. Nah, dude, the pedophile lobby is very powerful in France. Oh, Jesus Christ. Also, I mean, we have a conversation about age of consent, except like in most fucking states in America, age of consent is not only much lower than 18, but also on top of that, there's like child marriages that happen too. Weird take is you can argue to keep lowering it. The video author made a good point, and it's the issue of commodification. While I'm against pedophilia, the state enforcing laws on sex relationships doesn't remedy the root issues that lead to pedophilia and a slew of other sexual issues. That being said, at the current state, I feel like jail sentencing is the only immediate solution to pedophiles. Yeah, I agree. In 1977, a petition was addressed to the French Parliament calling for the abrogation of several articles of age of consent law as a decriminalization of all consensual relationships between adults and minors below the age of 15. The age of consent in France Kids getting in trouble is why there's courts to interpret the law. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like 18-year-olds dating 16-year-olds and shit. But again, there's a lot of young people in the chat and they'll say like, that's unacceptable. So I don't know.
Brown, Suni Previn, Anthony Rapp, these people who have been abused and sexualized by the media and the system. I have very little faith they're going to get a divorce. They've been together too long without any serious issues, so what's the point of this video? I guess I just wanted to add more nuance to the conversation, because when the only place getting heated about their relationship is Twitter, chances of nuance are low. Sam Taylor Johnson is a predator, whether she knows it or not. That needs to be said, and it is not negotiable or debatable. I would also like to add, please don't harass them. I don't even know how one would, considering neither of them have social media. But if people go and spam their email or call her a hag or whatever, then there's a possibility I won't get to make more videos about sexual assault and Marvel.